Hello, my name is Joyous. Welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to be talking about how to persevere. And for me, persevering means to continue steadfastly in a course of action or to maintain a purpose, especially when faced with difficulties or opposition. It implies a persistent effort to achieve a goal despite obstacles or discouragement. And I know I'm early in my content creation journey right now, and I feel like I think it's the most, I don't know, like if you're not someone that naturally wants to post online, it's a very um the thing you have to persevere to continue on doing, if you don't naturally like just post things and share things online. Like, and I think there's some trauma, and we're going to get into the reasons you don't persevere right now, but like I think I have a little trauma around my voice not being heard as a child, and now, and I think this is a very common trauma to have as a child. Like, it's not something like, oh, my parents are the worst or something. It's just like, childhood is a prison a lot of the times, and like you have to do as your parents and like as society wants you to do. And then you become an adult and you're supposed to just do stuff and like do as you please, supposedly. Like, you now have all these freedoms all of a sudden. Like, I think it's crazy. Like, and I think persevering through and like not being used to going after the things that you want, and like the challenges that you're used to having are things that were thrust upon you through society or whatever. Like, now that you're persevering for something that's not something that um you want, or that something that society's pushing onto you, like if you're persevering for something that's not, being thrust upon you, like it's different. Like, this is such an optional thing that I'm doing right now, and it's like you might be doing something very optional or very like, DIY, especially as a creator in general. I feel like I want to talk to a lot of creators or creatives. um Persevering is not something we're used to, and persevering for the success of whatever we're going for is just not something that um, we were raised to think. Like, we were raised to just go to school and we were raised to get a job. We weren't raised to like, grow our own creative needs and like grow our own creative desires. Most of us weren't. So I want to talk about some reasons that you don't persevere normally. The first thing I want to talk about is, you're not lazy. If you think you're a lazy person, you're probably not lazy. You're probably just grieving. And when I first heard about this idea of grieving instead of being lazy, like, I was like, I haven't had enough trauma in my life per se in order to need this long of grieving time or something. But I know that people in our 20s, like, we are grieving what we thought our life was supposed to be. Like, I thought, once I graduated college, I was just gonna like find a boyfriend, get married, and like live that white picket fence life. Like, I never even like that was just the image that was shown to me. Like, I was supposed to get a nice job after I graduated from college, and like, I thought like life was gonna be perfect, and like I thought I was gonna have, you know, I already went through all the challenges of going through the degree, that like I didn't have to, you know, do much after that. And then once life comes up and like I realize my life is not as, and like the job market's no fun for the millennial or Gen Z. It's, you have to grieve that. You have to grieve that your life isn't exactly how you thought it was going to be when you were a child. Like, and that's something that, the adult me is going through right now, is grieving what I thought my life was going to look like, especially at this time in age. um, there's also trauma. You might be grieving from some traumatic thing. Like, for example, for me, I had mental health issues during COVID, and you know, COVID was a very scary thing for people, and like that's still something that we're grieving through. And like we had a lot of job losses during COVID, and like in general, if you've lost your job or like something traumatic happened to you, like it's okay to not be okay. It's perfectly okay to not be okay right now. Another thing that we could be grieving is that we've failed in the past. And I have a video on how to overcome failure, how to cope with failure. But like if you've failed in the past, then you're someone that, you're grieving that failure. Even if you did the best that you could, everything like your therapist is telling you to think for yourself. And you're still not someone that is getting back up again and like trying to go after what they want in life. Like, it's okay. You failed before in the past, and like you're grieving. Another reason that you're not persevering is like you're doing things that you think you should be doing instead of the things that you actually want to be doing. And this is kind of going into the whole childhood is a prison thing. Like, we did a bunch of stuff that we should be doing, and now you are trying to do stuff that we want to do, or you're still doing things that you think you should be doing instead of the things you actually want to do. Like there are some things like you have to brush your teeth every morning, or like twice a day. Like that's a lesson that you learn. But like there and like you have to like make money in order to live. Most of us, at least. But like even when it comes to starting a business that you love, like there are some aspects of starting a business and like doing creative endeavors that you don't want to do. Like don't do them. For example, for me, like I know I've been told to start like a newsletter, or like posting on Instagram or posting on all the social media sites every day, and that, or hiring some sort of editor, or like getting my editing down into some sort of perfect thing. Like there's just so many things that I think I should be doing with my business that I don't want to do. And like what you should be doing instead is doubling down on the things that you want to do. And then once you're ready, or like once you're able to, delegate the things that you should be doing to other people for per se. Um there's also some social pressures like marriage or buying a house that you think you should do and like you should be moving towards, but do you really actually want them? For example, for me right now, like I feel like there's a lot like to connect with other people and like connect with women my age. Like I should be in the dating market, and like I should be having these like scary stories, or like I should be like dating right now in general. And like that's something that I would be having, those that would be a topic that I'd have with friends to chat about, is like my dating life. And like I don't really want to date at this point in my life. I just don't think I'm interested or ready, or I just don't feel like the type of person that I'm attracting, or the type of person that I would attract at this point, is someone that I like. Um, just because I'm still working on myself, and like I know that honestly I'm not the most confident person at this point in my life when it comes to like my career. Um, and it would be nice to find someone that's like exactly like me, that's like working towards something, and like you know but I don't know. For like I just think most men like aren't that very, especially at our age, like in the 20s, in our 20s, like most men are not very interesting to be around right now, and like they're not confident themselves, so they're like not someone that's very interesting. Like I don't know, like I'm just not very interested in like dating men or dating even women right now. Like I'm not very interested in dating in general. But yeah, I'd much rather focus on my business and honestly like my weight loss journey than trying to add something new to my life, which is dating. Or like I don't know, I just feel like dating is such a whatever. But that's the thing I don't feel like doing right now. Like there might be things that maybe starting your career is not something that you're very interested in, but you feel like you should be like looking for a career, when like what you really want to do is just draw and write and like have a job that pays the bills and move on with your life and do other things. Like that might be something that you're interested in doing. But yeah, another thing is like you're just doing a project you don't want to do. And this is should versus wanting. It may look good that you're doing these things to others. Like for example, for me, I've had a startup, and like I felt like it was a really good look on me. And also I was trying to be an engineer. I felt like it was a really good look on me, but I didn't actually want to do these things. Looking back, like I didn't actually want to do what it took to start the startup. And I feel like it's important to become mindful of when you're doing things for social acceptance and for societal, and like societal pressures, than it is to do it for because you want to do it. Another reason you're not persevering is like all parts of yourself aren't in alignment with your goal. And I truly believe, and like this is something that's shown in psychology, and this is something that's in spirituality, but there are many parts to your person, and like it's not, and I feel like a dramatic version of this is multiple personality disorder, but like we all have fragments of ourselves. Like there's a part of ourselves that like maybe when I was a kid, like I used to want to be a lawyer or a doctor, and like or not a doctor, I used to want to be a lawyer. And the part of me that wanted to serve justice and like speak on behalf of others got really shunned because my parents didn't really want me to be, or one of my parents didn't really want me to be a lawyer. So I had to hide that part of myself that was like had the lawyer tendencies or interested in being a lawyer. Same thing with my creative endeavors. Like if parts of you were like shunned or like rebuked by your society, then like you have all these different fragments of yourself. The part of you that's shy, but also the part of you that's extroverted. There's a part of you that wants to eat junk food, and there's a part of you that wants to eat healthy. Some part of you is trying to protect you, and like all of these parts are serving you in some way, shape, or form. Like all of these parts are trying to take care of your person right now, and some part of you is trying to protect you from the discomfort of the potential rejection that you might receive from going through these challenges or whatever, or the potential discomfort that you might experience by persevering with this stuff. Like there's a part of you that is trying to stop you from not doing this thing because of the rejection or the discomfort that comes with whatever you're going for. So the steps to actually persevere include getting to know yourself. So like getting to know yourself is very important. And like you can do this like I feel like it's hard in a I feel like doing this just from scratch is like kind of crazy to do. Like I don't think that's something that's needed. Like there are personality tests that like you can take that can help you get to know yourself better. And another thing you could be doing is, I mean, this is a girl's thing, but like I think it's a very interesting practice is doing astrology or human design. Like, you know, people love human design these days. I don't know why it's more regarded better than astrology because it's the same. You're using your time and date location, your birth time, date, location in order to get the human design chart. But people love human design and learning about yourself through human design. And like, I mean, there's guides that give you, you know, there's already things that you can learn about yourself through like these other systems that people have created, and that could be a great start on getting to know yourself. You know, like how do you act, like how do you want to act, you know, and how you engage with the world and challenges just in general. Like you're special, but at the same time, like you're a human being, and like you're not that special. Like there is a way that you can go through life and like learn about yourself through learning like what other people have learned about, you know? Like you're not that special. You know, and that's something I'm trying to like teach myself is like, you know, I do have something to offer and I do have something special, but like I am still like just a human being, you know, and I have the same human experience as everyone else. So learning from other people's and other human experiences can help me, you know? Another way to persevere is to do less in order to focus on what matters most. Like something I used to try to have this whole like 10-part morning and evening routine, and you know, it would only last like maybe a week doing all of these things, you know, maybe a month tops if it's really simple things. But I have found that doing things that are most important to you, like I think there's the 80-20 rule, like 80% of your success will come from 20% of the things that you do on a daily basis. And you should be trying to focus on what's the most important thing in your life or the most important thing towards these goals in order to persevere and get through them. So if the most important thing for you is to post like a video, or the most important thing for you to do is to post every day, then like bump everything else. Like try your best to like get through this action and do the thing. And like posting every day does not mean like, you know, editing to the gods, like editing so well that like, you know, like I've tried editing like, you know, really hard before, and like that's just not where I'm at, you know, like that's doing more. And like I feel like getting the content out for me is the most important thing for my creative endeavors. But yeah, do less in order to focus on what matters most. I think it's a very important and insightful thing to be thinking about when you're trying to persevere. Um, just simplify it as much as possible. Just simplify your situation as much as you can to do what matters most. And approach it as if you're building a house or building something big on your own. Like you're gonna need to test the foundations. And like you're building something new. Like you're building something for you that's never been done before. And like this is a very unique. As much as I was saying you're special, you're not special. Like you are the amalgamation of all of these generations and all of your ancestors. Like that like stayed alive. Like you are something that is extremely unique. Like whatever you're doing, it is actually extremely unique to your person and your life and like your environment. And you should be mindful of that, you know? And like building something that is completely unique to you is like so tough, you know? And like I think it's important to, you know, approach it like you're building a house, and approach it like you're testing out the waters, you're building a foundation. It'll take you months, years maybe, but like, you know, approach it like you're building a house on your own, you know, building a whole structure, a cathedral, you know? Like I've heard people say that like, you should be posting on social media, and like at least for me, the way I'm doing this content creation thing is like instead of just, you know, posting whatever, and I don't know, I'm still kind of on the fence of this, but like you should be creating a cathedral of information and cathedral of things that people like once people come into your home and come into your house, they'll see like you've worked so hard on all of this stuff, and like they have a bunch of stuff to binge and consume on because you've been working so hard all these years to build a beautiful house. That's something else to think about. Another thing that you can be thinking about is trying different methods to get towards your goal. Like sometimes we get so stuck in how we're doing this thing that we're trying to work on, and like you know, instead of trying to approach it in a bunch of different ways, we keep doing the same thing over and over again and trying to expect a different results. I think like there's something a little nuanced with this. Like, I feel like consistency is key a lot of the times, but at the same time, like if you're seeing that you're not getting that many results, like it's trying something new over and over again, I think is something interesting and fun to do. When it comes to persevering. And like maybe you found that like, and like for me, I've tried this YouTube channel multiple times, and I've tried multiple, you know, iterations of the content that I'd post on here. Like I've tried reacting to things, I've tried editing my videos a lot, I've tried posting one video a week. I've tried sticking to a schedule. I've tried like just journaling. I've tried trying to vlog every day. But I have found that for me right now, what's getting me to post consistently or normally is just posting whenever I want and posting things that I think matter to me. Um, and this is my creative process at this point, and like I'm enjoying the things that I'm creating right now. And that's what my version of success looks like, is like just enjoying the things that I'm posting and creating right now. But trying different methods to get towards your goal is very important. And I think doing that is going to be very helpful for you and your goals. So I hope this video was helpful to you. These were steps to actually persevere, as well as the reasons you're not persevering. And I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.